The environmental health is one of the key elements of Ethiopia's environmental policy. In line with this, Addis Ababa has been undertaking massive projects aiming at making the city more appealing and smart, followed by international standard. Mentioning the projects accomplished in the fiscal year, Minister of Ethiopian Plan and Development Ministry, Fitsum Asafa, has said the achieved projects has made the country to be a host country for the African climate second, and African and Caribbean countries lead the city more.
As
the upcoming international events to be held in our city, Addis Ababa is an event that we are expecting to host more than 25,000 people. It has a significant role in Ethiopia's economy, especially for the hospitality, transport industry. It has direct benefit. Generally, its benefits for the tourism sector. When we see it in detail, there is no doubt that it will have high occupancy for the hotel and accommodation sector. With regard to this, there will also be economic benefits that make trickle with every individual who participates in this process. Therefore, hosting such a world class is successful in a manner that creates the opportunity to make Ethiopia a preferable destination for these kind of high-level events. We hence ought to execute for our own benefit.
preferred የሆነ destination እንድትሆን ለማድረግ እድል ይሰጣል ሶ ለራሳችን ስንል በደንብ መስራት አለብን ብዬ አስባለሁ
The African Climate Second Summit in Ethiopia is crucial because it provides African nations a platform to address climate change, successful solutions, increased financial support and policy changes that unified the continent's unique need. With regard to this, an environmental expert, Dimamu Tagala, suggests the key points or guidelines should be set by the summit.
For the coming second African Climate Summit, it is better if they discuss on how to push forward for loss and damage compensation. Because Africa is disproportionately affected by contributing less emission, it was affected seriously by this climate change impact and shared a big crisis. You know, we are seeing a lot of climate change scenarios across Africa. The other thing is under Copenhagen Agreement. You know, the first thing is Copenhagen Agreement promise on climate change was failed because in the promise they promised, you know, to mobilize nearly $1 billion for developing countries, particularly Africa. But Africa received only, I think, around $20 billion, which is very low by 2020. That was a plan to address by 2020, but it was not addressed. Still, we are receiving a very low amount. And as a summit, it is better if they discuss even how to push forward, at least to mobilize those resources to effectively tackle climate change.
Ambassador Nebiat Getachew, spokesperson for the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, held a press briefing with members of the media on the current affairs. Regarding African Climate Summit Second, the spokesperson noted that the summit aims to advance Africa-led initiatives in renewable energy, climate resilience and sustainable development. With the same vein, Ethiopia will play a leading role in safeguarding the continental interests in the upcoming African Climate Summit Second in Addis Ababa, said the spokesperson.
Ethiopia isn't only a host country for this event, it's also an event that Ethiopia will play a leading role as agenda setter. It's an event that Ethiopia presets its remarkable climate action achievements. Concerning the climate change, Africa will also develop its own continent-based solutions, strengthens and expands financial collaboration at the global stage in this event. Ethiopia will also use this event to identify its own demonstrating agenda to participate in for the 13th World Climate Change event that will be held in Brazil, having its own stand.
የራሷን አቋም ይዛ ለመቅረብ ወሳኝ አጀንዳዎችን የምትለይበትን እድል የምትፈጥርበት ነው።
The other thing I wanted to raise as Africa is it is better to connect Africa diaspora with climate finance as well. why we don't connect African diaspora with climate? Why the African diaspora is not investing on green technologies? So it's better also to discuss on those issues. So as Africa, we can start building our internal capacity. Better to use African diaspora involved in the climate related activities.
The upcoming African Climate Second Summit will be kicking off since the coming September. It is strategically positioned to influence the global climate negotiation and foster African nations' voice on the climate action.